famous Reading Railroad. Even the game of Monopoly used their line as one of the game pieces. The Reading Company Railroad was open for business by 1842 between Philadelphia and Pottsville. This was another road of many, originally built to move anthracite coal down to the big cities and ocean-serving ports. The Reading Company was a railroad that was 43% owned by the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad and indirectly the Chesapeake and Ohio into the Chessie era. In another layer, the Reading controlled the Central Railroad of New Jersey. When the Chessie system was formed in 1973, the Reading and the Jersey were not included. Both suffered under debt, bankruptcy, and crushing operating costs, plus the busy work of running countless commuter trains. Railroads like the Lehigh Valley and the Reading redefined their purpose and worked to bridge general freight traffic between other adjacent roads and industries. A number of things worked against that strategy. The number of miles needed to haul a loaded car and still make a profit kept increasing year by year, especially the way the ICC had rigged the regulations. Railroads couldn't easily lengthen themselves. They couldn't easily adjust their rates. Mergers took forever to approve, and they needed to be end-to-end to actually be effective. Another hidden problem was that many of the roads that in the past had provided bridge traffic were suddenly merged into other systems. Allies had suddenly become competitors. The next scene is 24.9 miles east of Philadelphia on the Reading to Philadelphia Main Line with a meet of a westbound and an eastbound at Perkiomen Junction. The first train is led by an Alco C630 and a GP35. By this era, much of the Reading's traffic was mixed freight bridged from other roads. Next, an eastbound brings a pair of EMD GP35s. On the first train you can see B&O and Western Maryland coal loads that are most likely regular bituminous coal mined in Maryland and being forwarded to industries on line to the Reading. Three-tenths of a mile to the east of Perkiomen Junction is Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. This was a regular stop for commuter trains. This train that originated in Philadelphia will run west to Reading at milepost 58.8. The next trains are fan trip trains that relive the days when the Reading had commuter trains running from Philadelphia radiating out to suburban areas. Trains from Philadelphia ran east about 5 miles and turned north at Wayne Junction to run to Bethlehem, 56.6 miles from Philadelphia. This fan trip train is at Lansdale, heading to Philadelphia. North of here, the tracks used to run to Bethlehem. Now they are severed short of Bethlehem, and some remaining track north of here is only used as car storage. At the Port Clinton had great access to the coal fields. Back in 1973, a few cars of anthracite could still be seen on occasional trains here. The next 5 scenes are along the tracks through some beautiful scenery, recalling the commuter days on fan trips. The Reading had trackage rights on the Western Maryland from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania to Hagerstown, Maryland. This dates from the days of the alphabet lines pieced together from New York to Chicago to compete with the Pennsylvania Railroad. Everywhere the Reading turned, it seemed like it was surrounded by the Pennsy. These Reading transfer trains are on the Pennsy tracks crossing Cove Road. These former weed-infested tracks today have been greatly upgraded with 3 tracks and even some concrete ties. Another fan trip runs by in Pennington, New Jersey on a former Reading and B&O line. These SW1001s were built in 1973. They were both passed to Conrail by 1976. When Conrail ended, the 2606 finally wound up on the CSX, and 2623 has been on 3 short lines since then. More Reading switchers would wind up as Conrail units by 1976. Examples are SW1 number 24, built in 1941. It became Conrail number 8536, and Reading GP7 number 622 became Conrail 5806. Washington's intervention and regulation of railroads was conceived of and tried here first in this greater region. The Interstate Commerce Act of 1887 under President Cleveland restricted how rates were calculated. In the early years, the anthracite coal mine owners and the railroads were one and the same. The 1906 Hepburn Act was passed to break up these combinations. Slow enforcement didn't break up these combinations all at once. The Commerce Clause of the ICC Act of 1920 was finally upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court. The final crackdown on the combinations operated by railroads then came swiftly. In anthracite coal country, it meant that any railroad participating in interstate commerce haulage was barred from any part in the production of the goods hauled, or even owning shares of stock in a mine, as an example. These laws were targeted at railroads like the Lehigh Valley, the Lackawanna, the Jersey Central, and the Reading. Look for the full story on our DVD featuring such notables as the Lehigh Valley, Central Railroad of New Jersey, Delaware and Hudson, Penn Central, Erie Lackawanna, and much more. Visit our website and also our entire YouTube channel, and thanks for watching.